Good evening and a very warm welcome to the Kenya Defence Forces Weekly Bulletin, your trusted source for weekly updates on defense activities from operational highlights to the latest development at the Ministry of Defense. I'm your host, Sergeant Kasim Ali, and here are our top stories tonight. Kenya Defence Forces joins in inauguration of Katiba Day at KICC. Cabinet Secretary Defense opens 2025 Africa Regional Rim consultations. Senior Private Boniface Mushiri, promoted as Chief of Defense Forces, receives Ulinzi Stars FC performance interim report. Commander Kenya Army visits troops in Northeastern Region. Commander Kenya Air Force and Commander Kenya Navy presides over the performance contract signing at their respective service headquarters. And in sports, Kenya Air Force hosts inaugural Commander Kenya Air Force Chess Tournament. To kick off our show tonight, Kenya Defence Forces joined Kenyans during the inauguration of Katiba Day at the Kenyatta International Convention Center. The event followed proclamation by the President of the Republic of Kenya and the Commander-in-Chief of the Defence Forces, His Excellency Dr. William Samoei Ruto. It commemorates 15 years since the promulgation of the Constitution of Kenya. Take a look.
Kenya Defence Forces personnel took part in the presentation of the instruments of state power, including the national anthem lyrics, the national seal, the coat of arms, the national flag, and a copy of the 2010 Constitution presented by the Attorney General.
Katiba 2010 became our national testimony, our solemn vow to build a free, democratic, inclusive, and united Kenya. Over the past 15 years, we have walked that journey. We have injected life into this great chapter.
The President reaffirmed the Constitution as the cornerstone of Kenya's democracy, a protector of rights and freedoms, and a unifying contract for all citizens. He urged Kenyans and institutions to remain committed to its values and emphasized that building a just, peaceful, and prosperous nation is a shared responsibility.
Kenya has reaffirmed its leadership in shaping the future of artificial intelligence in defense by hosting the 2025 Africa Regional Responsible Artificial Intelligence in the Military Domain consultation in Nairobi. The consultations, held over 2 days from 26th to 28th August 2025, were officially opened by Defense Cabinet Secretary Soipan Tuya and closed by Vice Chief of the Defense Forces, Lieutenant General John Omenda, on behalf of the Chief of the Defense Forces, General Charles Kahariri.
Madam, it is my great pleasure to welcome.
The meeting brought together delegates from 17 African countries and global partners to explore policies, technical standards, and ethical guidelines that ensure artificial intelligence in the military promotes peace, security, and human dignity. Cabinet Secretary Tuya stressed the role of youth as drivers of artificial intelligence innovation and praised the Kenya Defence Forces for hosting the summit for a second consecutive year.
We must focus on serious partnerships and not to overemphasize the need to carry along our young populations, because they are right at the center of AI, and they are very innovative. And if we don't involve them in the discussions around responsible use of AI, bringing on board the issue of ethical frameworks and human rights and human dignity, then we will continue to see the very concerning irresponsible use of AI and technology.
Major General Joyce CTNA of the National Defence University Kenya urged that defense universities serve as innovators and ethical guides in artificial intelligence adoption, while Netherlands Ambassador Henk Jan Bakker called for stronger international cooperation.
Defense universities occupy a unique space in addressing this challenge. They are more than centers of learning. They are incubators of responsible leadership and innovation.
At the close, Lieutenant General Omenda commended delegates for their constructive dialogue, describing it as proof of artificial intelligence, global importance, and the collective duty to safeguard its use.
The depth of our discussions and quality of engagement from the 19 African nations demonstrate our continent's serious commitment to the responsible use of AI in governance in the military domain.
He also saluted the United Nations Institute for Disarmament Research for enriching the discussions with research and expertise. United Nations Institute for Disarmament Research researcher Dr. Yasmin Afina emphasized the need for regional dialogue, trust building, and capacity development. The consultations also gave Spain, the host of the next Responsible Artificial Intelligence in the Military Domain Summit, an opportunity to underline its commitment to a human-centered approach to military artificial intelligence, pledging that human responsibility must remain central, especially in decisions on the use of force.
The stage is set for next month's groundbreaking ceremony for the modernization of Siaya Referral Hospital and the expansion of Jaramogi Oginga Odinga Stadium. Honorable Soipan Tuya, the Defense Cabinet Secretary, hosted Siaya Governor His Excellency James Orengo at Ulinzi House to review the progress of preliminary activities for the two priority government infrastructure projects.
The review exercise, also attended by Dr. Patrick Mariru, the Defense Principal Secretary, and Major General Edward Rugendo, the Director Personnel and Logistics, included the harmonization of architectural drawings and the scope of works. In partnership with the Siaya County Government, the Ministry of Defense, through the Kenya Defense Forces, will oversee the construction of a new 5-story block that will expand the capacity of Siaya Level 5 Hospital by 500 beds. The expansion of Jaramogi Oginga Odinga Stadium will raise the facility's capacity from the current 5,500 to 20,000 seater.
During a recent ceremony at the Defense Headquarters, General Charles Kahariri, the Chief of the Defense Forces, presided over the promotion of Senior Private Boniface Mushiri, the captain of Ulinzi Stars Football Club and winger for the Harambee Stars. This promotion recognized his exceptional performance in the ongoing African Nations Championship.
The promotion was officially conferred by Major General Luka Kuto, the General Officer commanding Eastern Command. At the same event, General Kahariri was presented with an interim performance review report for the Ulinzi Stars Football Club covering the period from the year 2020 to 2025. Brigadier Ahmed Saman, chairman of the review committee, presented the report, which evaluated the club's technical, tactical, managerial, welfare and recruitment and facility-related capacities. It also benchmarked the club against successful teams and proposed short and long-term recommendations to improve its competitiveness and management. General Kahariri affirmed that the Kenya Defense Forces leadership is fully committed to implementing the report's recommendations, emphasizing the club's responsibility to remain competitive while embodying the values and discipline of the Defense Forces.
On to national development projects. Githunguri Sub-County Hospital, a project that has been pending since 2019, is among several national infrastructure projects the Ministry of Defense is expediting. Working with the county government of Kiambu, the Ministry of Defense through the Kenya Defense Forces is keen on ensuring that the hospital is completed, equipped and operationalized before the end of this year.
Defense Cabinet Secretary Honorable Soipan Tuya joined Kiambu Governor, His Excellency Paulo Matangi, at a status meeting and joint inspection of the hospital complex, which is almost 70% complete. Githunguri Sub-County Hospital is one of 8 priority health facilities across the country identified by the government in 2018 and tasked to the Ministry of Defense for an upgrade as part of the national rollout of the Universal Health Coverage Program.
On the digital front, Dr. Patrick Mariru, the Defense Principal Secretary, co-chaired a meeting on the rollout of the new electronic government procurement with Mr. Cyril Wagunda Odede, the Public Investment and Asset Management Principal Secretary. The meeting held at Defense Headquarters included senior Ministry of Defense and National Treasury officials. The electronic government procurement is a core part of Kenya's public finance management reforms aimed at transitioning to a more efficient digital platform from the manual procurement system. Earlier this week, the Commander Kenya Army, Lieutenant General David Keter, visited Kenya Defence Forces troops deployed at forward operation bases in Marsabit, Wajir, Mandera, and Garissa counties.
The routine inspection was a part of Kenya Army Headquarters' effort to assess ongoing border operations, where bases have been strategically placed to deter threats and enhance security. Lieutenant General Keter encouraged the troops to maintain momentum in securing Kenya's borders against illegal cross-border movements and intercommunal tensions, highlighting their role as the Republic's first line of defense.
We take a short break. We will be back in a moment.
From the vast grazing fields to your plate, Kenya Meat Commission is your trusted source for premium quality meat products. With over 70 years of experience, KMC upholds the highest standards in meat processing, ensuring fresh, safe, and nutritious products for households across Kenya. Supplying excellence, KMC guarantees top-tier beef, mutton, and canned meat, meeting your needs with consistency and quality. Looking for the best in meat? Choose Kenya Meat Commission, where quality meets trust.
Welcome back. Major General Bernard Waliaula, Commander Kenya Air Force, and Major General Paul Otieno, the Commander Kenya Navy, have presided over the official signing of performance contracts for the financial year 2025-2026 at their respective headquarters, Moi Air Base and Mtongwe, Mombasa County. The events brought together formation commanders and principal staff officers in a united commitment to performance excellence and national defense.
At Moi Air Base, Commander Kenya Air Force Major General Bernard Waliaula underscored that performance contracts are not merely procedural documents but a call to action, anchoring transparency, mission readiness, and prudent use of resources. He urged formations to conduct regular monthly reviews, reiterating that signing these contracts is a tangible expression of the Air Force's dedication to delivering results and upholding the nation's trust. In Mtongwe, Major General Paul Otieno, Commander Kenya Navy, commended his officers for their professionalism and loyalty to duty. He emphasized adherence to resource management protocols and high standards of accountability. The commander further reaffirmed his commitment to enhancing competency development and supporting the presidential directive on the National Tree Growing Restoration Campaign. These ceremonies reflect a Defense Force-wide ethos of accountability, strategic focus, and unwavering commitment to safeguarding Kenya's airspace and maritime sovereignty.
And now on to economic development. The Kenya Meat Commission has officially opened a new branch in Kitengela, marking a significant step in its effort to expand service delivery and strengthen the livestock value chain across the country. The expansion is part of the Commission's strategic plan to decentralize services, making quality meat products more accessible to customers and providing a reliable market for livestock farmers.
Major General Gula Jatani, the Kenya Meat Commission Managing Commissioner, reaffirmed the Commission's commitment to supporting farmers and consumers alike and stated that 9 more branches will be opened for legitimate meat supplies. The aim is to expand locally and open more branches in Rongai, Syokimau, Thika and Nairobi Central Business District.
Embarked on a very serious program that is to extend our local reach in terms of provision of. And we say Kajiado is the most important county to start from.
The new branch will provide a wide range of services including livestock procurement, meat processing, retail sales and distribution to institutional clients. The branch is also expected to create employment opportunities. Since September 2020, the management of the Kenya Meat Commission was handed over to the Kenya Defence Forces to streamline operations, reduce corruption and ensure efficiency.
And on to spiritual matters, the Saints Peter and Paul Cathedral Church at Defence Headquarters in Nairobi hosted the annual Apostolate Eucharistic celebration and commissioning of new members for the Catholic Women Association. Take a look.
Right Reverend Wallace Ng'ang'a, the Bishop of the Military Ordinariate of Kenya, presided over the Mass, which was attended by over 178 members from different deaneries of the Kenya Defence Forces. In his homily, the bishop spoke on themes of service, perseverance and hope, urging the women to be instruments of positive change. He emphasized the vital role of Catholic women in fostering moral and spiritual growth within the military community and encouraged them to be a source of hope for their families.
Shifting gears to global affairs, the Ministry of Defence, in partnership with the Ministry of Foreign and Diaspora Affairs, reaffirmed Kenya's commitment to global peace and security by convening a high-level technical workshop on international peacekeeping. The day-long forum held at the Humanitarian Peace Support School brought together diplomats, defense experts and policymakers to discuss the future of peace support operations.
Ambassador Josephat Maikara, the Director General for Political and Diplomatic Affairs at the Ministry of Foreign and Diaspora Affairs Kenya, hailed Kenya's pivotal role in peacekeeping missions under the United Nations and African Union. He outlined strategic priorities for the country's future contributions, including enhancing training through institutions like the International Peace Support Training Center and mobilizing resources through diplomatic engagement. Participants endorsed the need for greater collaboration between the Ministry of Defense and the Ministry of Foreign and Diaspora Affairs, while expressing optimism that the insights and the strategies discussed would ensure the defense forces remain prepared to address the emerging security threats such as terrorism, cyber insecurity, and humanitarian crisis.
In the fight against terrorism, the Kenya Defence Forces Special Forces, while conducting an intelligence-led patrol in Laktamangai within the expansive Boni Forest, discovered and neutralized a makeshift Al-Shabaab camp.
In the operation, 5 terrorists were eliminated while others fled with injuries. The patrol also led to the recovery of major operational items, including AK-47 rifles, RPG launchers with warheads, rounds of ammunition, solar panels, tents, and raw materials for making improvised explosive devices. Operation Amani Boni remains committed to restoring peace and security in the Boni region, ensuring families can live without fear. Kenya Defence Forces has urged citizens to stay vigilant and report any suspicious activity to support the ongoing mission.
And in our sports news tonight, patrons of the Kenya Defence Forces Golf Association Prize Tournament held at Thika Sports Club attracted more than 250 golfers this year. The annual event brought together players from across the country, including men, women and junior golfers, for a spirited day of competition. At the same time, the Kenya Air Force Golf Club in Eastleigh Moi Air Base hosted the Chairman's Prize Tournament, where 93 golfers, both male and female, teed off in a show of skill and camaraderie. Victors in each category received prizes in recognition of their achievements.
At Thika Sports Club, competitors showcased talent, precision, strategy, and a dash of luck across multiple categories. The event highlighted both seasoned players and emerging talent, reinforcing the Patron's Prize as a premier occasion for golf in the Kenya Defence Forces calendar. Sponsorship from Kingdom Bank and the Defence Forces Welfare Services emphasized the role of the tournament in nurturing sporting excellence and community engagement. Their representatives praised the professional organization and sportsmanship that defined the competition. Meanwhile, in Eastleigh, Ann Obara emerged as the overall ladies winner with 37 points, while Alice Wanjiru claimed the longest drive title. In the men's category, David Ngonge won the overall title with 41 points, with the longest drive going to Senior Sergeant Aaron Wanyama. Jacob Ochieng took the nearest to the pin award, while Paul Wekesa was crowned overall tournament winner. Colonel Evans Oduma, chairman of the Kenya Air Force Golf Club, lauded the enthusiasm of the participants and thanked sponsors Diamond Trust Bank for their partnership. He also highlighted their support for a one-week junior golf clinic that introduced more than 100 children of service personnel to the sport. The event was attended by Kenya Defence Forces Golf Club Chairman, Brigadier Victor Kangethe, who underscored the growing interest and support for golf within the Kenya Defence Forces fraternity.
The Kenya Air Force held its first Commander Kenya Air Force Chess Tournament at Moi Air Base Gymnasium, marking a significant milestone in the service sporting calendar. The event brought together 59 participants from various Kenya Air Force formations as well as civilian players who competed in 8 challenging rounds.
Deputy Commander Kenya Air Force Brigadier Samuel Kipkorir presided over the tournament on behalf of Commander Kenya Air Force Major General Bernard Waliaula. He commended the organizers and participants, urging them to continue sharpening their skills as the Kenya Air Force prepares for the Chief of Defence Forces Chess Tournament on 29th August 2025. Lieutenant Brian Onduso from Laikipia Air Base emerged as the champion with Warrant Officer Class 1 Japheth Yumbi and Warrant Officer Class 1 George Ngethe coming in second and third respectively.
And finally, in efforts of fostering regional peace in the North Rift, the curtain came down on the 4-day Operation Maliza Uhalifu North Rift Sports for Peace tournament with a colorful closing ceremony graced by Honorable Kipchumba Murkomen, the Cabinet Secretary for Interior and National Administration, as the chief guest. The tournament, which drew over 1,000 athletes, featured competitions in athletics, football, volleyball, and dance.
Beyond the games, participants also engaged in peace talks to strengthen friendships across diverse communities. The tournament's highlight was the football final between Kenya Defence Forces and Kaben Football Club, which ended in a symbolic tie for peace. Honorable Murkomen commended the initiative for fostering reconciliation and warned against the proliferation of illegal arms, stressing the government's unwavering resolve to restore lasting peace. The week-long event was coordinated by the Operation Maliza Uhalifu Multi-Agency Security Team, led by its commander, Brigadier Alex Kiraguri, in partnership with community-led organizations.
And that's it for this week. We thank you for spending your time with us and look forward to your lively engagement through our official social media platforms. Join us again next week for another edition of the Kenya Defence Forces Weekly Bulletin. I have been your host, Sergeant Kasim Ali. Goodbye and be blessed.